Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So our mission today is pretty specific. We got this huge stack of sources.
Yeah.
Basically a full list of interview questions for a clinical supervisor.
Right, 17 of them.
Exactly. Now, most people, they'd look at this and think, okay, interview prep.
Yeah, how to answer the questions.
Well, we see it differently.
Yeah.
We think it's like a secret blueprint. We're going to reverse engineer this whole thing.
Conduct a role analysis, essentially.
Yeah, figure out not just what the job is, but the real skills, the mindset you need to actually succeed in it.
Precisely. We're ditching the how to answer and focusing on the why they ask. I mean, these questions really lay bare the core priorities, the biggest stressors.
And the leadership qualities needed.
Yeah. It's like a shortcut to understanding what this job truly demands.
And you know what immediately jumped out at me looking through these sources is this constant tension. You've got the deep clinical complexity, the regulations always changing, but then the core of it, it's just pure human management, empathy.
It's a real tightrope walk, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so let's unpack this. What actually inspires someone to take on this level of pressure? I mean, really.
Well, that's the first big question the interviewers are getting at, right? It pops up in the prep materials. What inspired you when you became a clinical supervisor?
You're digging into your values there, your motivation.
Exactly, trying to see if it's sustainable.
And the sources, they give a pretty nuanced answer. It starts with that passion, for providing good care, supporting patients. That's the baseline.
The clinical calling, yeah.
But the deeper thing, the real driver highlighted here, it's the challenge of leadership itself.
Right. Leading a team.
Yeah, guiding this often diverse team through all the admin, the system changes, the whole healthcare environment mess.
And that point, leading through complexity, that's so important. Because passion gets you started, but it's specific skills that keep you going.
Okay, so what skills?
If you look at the skills section in these sources, the number one thing, universally, it's not clinical chops. No, it's the ability to effectively communicate with the team.
Okay, but doesn't every management job description say good communication? What's different here? What did the sources identify as really crucial in this clinical setting?
It's more specific than just talking. It's about the flow, the structure. The materials point to three things, giving really clear, unambiguous instructions.
Especially when things get stressful, I imagine.
Absolutely. Then providing constructive feedback that actually helps without crushing morale. That's tricky.
Yeah.
And maybe most critical, actively listening, hearing concerns.
Yeah.
Because in a clinical setting, a misunderstanding, that can have immediate, serious consequences.
Right. Precision matters. Trust matters.
Communication has to be precise, and the feedback loop needs high trust. That's the foundation.
That makes total sense. Clarity equals safety. Okay, so let's shift gears into the more tactical stuff. The day-to-day.
The operations.
Yeah. You've got a demanding team, admin work piling up, urgent patient needs. How do good supervisors juggle all that? I mean, the question, how do you prioritize and manage your time? That feels like a stress test in itself.
Oh, it absolutely is. They're gauging organizational skills, sure, but also that ability to balance immediate needs, like a crisis happening right now, with the longer-term goals.
So what works? What strategies do the sources point to?
Three main things stand out. First, and this is non-negotiable, communicate and set clear expectations. Everyone needs to know their role, what's due when, no ambiguity.
Okay. Clear expectations. Number two.
Using tools. And they mention a whole range from simple to-do lists right up to, complex project management software.
Well, what makes that clinical specific? Couldn't that apply anywhere?
Well, yeah, but in a clinical setting, those tools often need to do more. They might need to integrate task tracking with compliance checklists or patient management systems.
Ah, okay. Accountability built in.
Exactly. The tools have to help you stay organized and meet regulatory standards. The key is finding what works for you and actually using it consistently.
And the third strategy, this one caught my eye because it brings back the human side. Scheduling personal time, like taking a break to plan or just clear your head.
It's absolutely vital. Think about it. You're leading a team that's probably dealing with high stress, potential burnout.
Right, increasing workloads.
Yeah. So your own organization, your own calmness, it sets the tone. If the supervisor looks stressed and chaotic, that feeling spreads.
So it's modeling behavior.
Exactly. Scheduling that planning time isn't a luxury. It's a preventative measure. It helps maintain that calm authority and focus.
That idea of modeling behavior really links to the next point, assessing success. How do supervisors know their organization and leadership are actually working? How do they measure performance?
They use a mix of things. You've got your regular performance reviews, of course, maybe quarterly meetings, formal check-ins on goals and progress.
But the sources emphasize it can't just be subjective, right? These objective measures. What kind of KPIs are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's not just sales numbers. Here, you're tracking specific objective metrics tied to clinical outcomes and efficiency. Things like patient safety incidents, hopefully low numbers, adherence rates to specific care protocols, documentation compliance, maybe even patient throughput times, stuff you can actually quantify.
Okay, quantifiable benchmarks. And what's the last piece of that assessment puzzle?
Getting regular feedback from the staff themselves.
Asking them directly.
Yep. Formal surveys sometimes, or just informal one-on-one chats. It gives you the ground-level reality that the numbers alone might miss. Makes the whole picture more complete.
So once you've assessed performance, you need to keep people motivated, especially with all the stress we've talked about. What are the key strategies for keeping a clinical team engaged and doing high-quality work?
The sources highlight 4 main strategies. First, the baseline. Lead by example. Set that positive professional tone consistently.
Okay.
Second, actively recognize and praise good work. Don't let it go unnoticed. That can be private or public if it's appropriate.
Makes sense. And the other 2 seem focused on growth and teamwork.
Exactly. Third, create opportunities for staff to actually learn and grow. In a clinical setting, that means supporting training, maybe specialization, getting certifications, advanced skills.
Investing in them.
Right. And fourth, encourage open communication and team problem solving. When there's a challenge, don't just dictate the solution. Get the team involved in figuring it out. That builds ownership.
Okay, now this is where, for me, it gets really interesting. Navigating the people stuff. We're talking about managing highly skilled professionals, often under intense pressure. What are the big human challenges that supervisors consistently run into?
Well, the sources frame the challenges as both relational and structural. First, just keeping everyone coordinated and focused on the same goal. With high stakes, maintaining that alignment constantly is tough.
Keeping everyone pulling in the same direction.
Yeah. And second, and this is often the hardest part, effectively dealing with conflict between staff members.
Oh, yeah. That's inevitable sometimes.
Right. So the supervisor needs to be a skilled mediator, basically, to keep the work environment positive and functional.
So if managing conflict is key, that communication style has to be genuinely open. The materials really stress this being an open communication believer.
What does that mean in practice?
It means regular meetings, sure, one-on-ones and group huddles. But crucially, it means creating an atmosphere where staff feel genuinely safe, bringing up issues, disagreements, concerns.
Without worrying about negative consequences.
Exactly. No fear of reprisal. That's huge.
And that feeling of safety, that comfort level, it loops right back to building relationships.
How so?
Well, if you look at building trust, the sources point to consistency in your expectations being fair. Transparency helps too. And showing appreciation.
We talked about recognition earlier.
Yeah, but it's more than just praise. It's showing you value the tough work they do. Public acknowledgement, a quick thank you, whatever fits. It signals they're seen.
And the most practical support supervisors offer. Creating that positive environment overall.
That's fundamental. The sources link it to having the necessary resources, pushing for professional development opportunities, and really promoting a healthy work-life balance.
There it is again. That seems critical for preventing the burnout we keep mentioning.
It absolutely is. And if you boil down the most important active support from a supervisor day to day,
What is it?
it's providing specific guidance and timely feedback, helping staff see where they can improve, and just being available, being there to answer questions.
So being an accessible resource, not some distant authority figure.
Exactly. Not a gatekeeper, but a guide.
Okay, let's look forward a bit now. The landscape is always shifting. How has this role, the clinical supervisor role, fundamentally changed because of external forces in recent years?
The sources really zero in on 3 big converging forces. First, obviously, the huge advancements in technology. That changes everything about information management.
Right. EMRs, data analytics.
Exactly. Second is the rise of evidence-based practice, or EBP.
Could you just quickly define EBP for anyone listening who might not be familiar, make sure we're on the same page?
Sure. Evidence-based practice simply means moving clinical decisions away from just how we've always done it, or anecdote.
Tradition.
Right. And instead, grounding care decisions firmly in the best, most current research findings. What the evidence actually shows works.
Which means supervisors have to keep up constantly.
Continuously updating protocols, training, It's a big lift. And the third factor, major shifts in healthcare delivery itself. We're seeing more complex cases, patients with multiple chronic conditions.
Which requires more coordination between different services.
A lot more coordination, yeah.
Okay, so that increased complexity must feed right into the pressures they face today.
Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges right now, according to the sources?
It's that constant squeeze play. Workloads are going up.
Yep.
Resources often feel like they're shrinking.
Budgets, staffing.
Exactly. And at the same time, demands from patients and families are increasing. They expect more, they know more.
That sounds like a recipe for stress.
It is. That challenging mix is what really drives stress and burnout in healthcare.
Yeah.
It makes the supervisor's job incredibly important, but also incredibly difficult.
And looking further out, what new pressures should future supervisors be ready for?
The future challenges really just build on those current stressors. Supervisors need to brace for even more demands for accountability and documentation.
Why? Regulations.
Yeah.
Payers.
Both. Regulatory oversight isn't going away, and payers want proof of value. Plus, with the acceleration of EBP we mentioned, supervisors will need to be experts across a wider range of topics than ever before.
Wow. So more documentation, broader expertise.
And that challenge of maintaining work-life balance, that's not going away either.
If anything, it sounds like it gets harder.
It likely will. And here's the tension. The technology that's supposed to help. It also drives the demand for more tracking, more data entry.
Right, double-edged sword.
Very much so. Technology will definitely help with communication thing, teleconferencing, shared platforms, and accessing resources. But supervisors must become adept at using new software, new databases, just to keep track of everything. Patient progress, compliance.
If they don't adapt, they'll drown in data.
Pretty much. Adaptation is key.
Okay. So what does this all mean for you listening to this? We started with 17 interview questions, and we've basically pulled out a really detailed job description. It's defined by these two big pressures, the clinical mission and the deep need for human support. And synthesizing across all these sources, you can really see the four most critical qualities emerge. Good communication skills,
Essential.
strong organizational skills,
Non-negotiable.
adept problem-solving skills,
Daily requirement.
and maybe overarching all of that, exceptional people skills, that ability to build supportive, resilient teams.
Absolutely. And for anyone thinking about stepping into this role, or maybe someone new in the job, the final advice from the source material is super practical, really clear. First, really invest in building a good working relationship with your team. Know their strengths, know their weaknesses. That helps you delegate smart.
Okay, know your people.
Second, always be genuinely open to feedback from your team. They're your eyes and ears on the ground. Listen to them.
Right, don't assume you know everything.
Never. And third, and this might be the most important in such a high-pressure role, don't ever be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Yeah, vulnerability isn't weakness.
Exactly. Leadership isn't about being perfect yourself. It's about achieving success together as a team.
It's incredible, really.
Yeah.
We basically extracted a whole leadership philosophy just from a list of interview questions.
Oh.
It shows how much the industry understands the complex mix of skills this role demands.
Precisely. It's all there if you look closely. And maybe here's a final thought, something for you to chew on, tying back to that core tension we identified.
Okay.
The sources constantly, repeatedly emphasize the soft skills, right? Empathy, appreciation, building supportive relationships. Basically the human stuff as the main defense against burnout.
Yeah, that came through loud and clear.
But at the same time, they predict a future dominated by technology, by increasing demands for objective metrics, hard data, rigid accountability.
Right, the quantification push.
So the provocative question is, how will the clinical supervisor of the future manage that? How do you successfully reconcile that relentless pressure for objective, measurable data with the absolute foundational need for empathy and supportive human connection?
Wow. Balancing the metrics and the meaning.
That's the tightrope. That's the defining challenge they'll face probably every single